August Moonrise by Sara Teasdale, 1884 to 1933. The sun was gone and the moon was coming over the blue Connecticut hills. The west was rosy, the east was flushed, and over my head the swallows rushed, this way and that, with changeful wills. I heard them twitter and watched them dart, now together and now apart, like petals blown from a tree. The maples stamped against the west were black and stately and full of rest, and the hazy orange moon grew up and slowly changed to yellow gold, while the hills were darkened, fold on fold, to a deeper blue than a flower could hold. Down the hill I went, and then I forgot the ways of men, for night scents, heady and damp and cool, wakened ecstasy in me on the brink of a shining pool. O beauty, out of many a cup you have made me drunk and wild, ever since I was a child. But when have I been sure as now that no bitterness can bend, and no sorrow wholly bow one who loves you to the end? And though I must give my breath and my laughter all to death, and my eyes through which joy came, and my heart a wavering flame, if all must leave me and go back along a blind and fearful track, so that you can make anew, fusing with intenser fire, something nearer your desire. If my soul must go alone through a cold infinity, or even if it vanish too, beauty, I have worshipped you. Let this single hour atone for the theft of all of me. And this was written in 1914. Okay, this is a poem by Sara Teasdale. Sara Teasdale was an American born in St. Louis in the state of Missouri. She won a Pulitzer Prize in 1917 for her poetry collection Love Songs. Let's see, she had a lot of problems with ill health, and her life was marked with tragedy and heartbreak. She was married twice, and her marriages didn't work out. And eventually she committed suicide in 1933. Now, this poem describes an August moonrise. Firstly, notice this was written in 1914, just before or at the very beginning of the First World War. August 1914, I think it started. Yeah. It describes the beauty of nature. It describes going for a walk in the Connecticut hills, and the beauty of nature, the fantastic beauty of nature is I think one of the main themes. I think also another theme here is the cycle of nature, or the cyclical nature, cyclical nature of nature, the cyclical way of life, that we are all born of nature and we go back to nature, and our bodies decompose into nature, and we then make something new. I think also the poem is thinking about the passage of time, and how as humans we are connected to nature. And I think the poem gives this feeling of being one with nature, one with the world around us. So let's see. The sun was gone and the moon was coming over the blue Connecticut hills. So this immediately gives us a time and a place. We're in Connecticut. We're looking at the blue hills, and the sun is going down and the moon is coming up. The west was rosy, the east was flushed. So the west is the sun setting, and there's this reddish colour where the sun is setting. And the east was flushed, the east was a darker colour, so the sun is setting. And over my head swallows rushed. So it's this time of day, it's the evening, and the swallows are flying backwards and forwards, this way and that with changeful wills. So the swallows are flying and suddenly changing direction. I like this changeful wills. So I think nature perhaps has a changeful will as well. I heard them twitter and watched them dart, now together and now apart, like petals blown from a tree. So they zoomed, they darted backwards and forwards. Sometimes there are various ones together, and then at other times they're all apart. And we have a nice little simile here. They're like dark petals that have been blown from a tree. So like petals in the wind. The maples stamped against the west were black and stately and full of rest. So a maple is a tree, it's a big tree. And I think the maple trees are at the background in the west where the sun is going down. It looks like they're of stamped pattern. They're black and dark, and they're very stately and very restful. And the hazy orange moon grew up. So the moon is starting to rise, and the moon is still a little bit of orange from the sunset, and slowly changed to yellow gold, while the hills were darkened, fold on fold, to a deeper blue than a flower could hold. So the moon is orange, and it's going up, and it's changing to a yellow gold colour. And the colour of the hills around her, the Connecticut hills, they're like folds. It's like a piece of textile, folded and folded. And they are a deeper blue than any flower could be. So it's a very deep blue. So the hills have taken on this dark, deep blue colour because of the sunset. Down the hill I went, and then I forgot the ways of men. So it was getting dark. It's time for me to go back. So I went down the hill. So she's been walking in the hills. I forgot the ways of men. So I forgot human society, and I was part of nature. This is her way of saying, suddenly I felt that I was part of the landscape. I was part of nature. For night scents heady and damp and cool, wakened ecstasy in me on the brink of a shining pool. So the night scents, the smells of evening, because there are a lot of smells of evening, they're heady, they're very strong, and they're damp and they're cool. So clearly it's been a hot day, but now the water is rising, and they wakened ecstasy in me. The coming of night, the effects of nature, they made me feel ecstatic on the brink of a shining pool. So maybe she's arrived by a little pond, but maybe the whole world she is describing as a shining pool. And it's a way to link into the next lines. Oh beauty, out of many a cup you have made me drunk and wild, ever since I was a child. So here the cup, it's like she's drinking in the beauty. She's drinking in beauty, and many times in her life, ever since she was young, she has felt beauty, and drinking of the beauty of nature has made her drunk with this beauty, has made her wild with this beauty. But when have I been sure as now that no bitterness can bend, and no sorrow wholly bow one who loves you to the end? But at this moment in time, this moment is special. She's in a trance with nature. She's at one with nature. She's in ecstasy with nature. And she says, I don't think I've ever been as certain now that nothing bad that happens to you, no bitterness can bend. No sorrow can wholly bow. So no bitterness can bend you down. No sorrow can wholly make you can bow you down. One who loves you in the end. So if he loves you to the end. So if you love nature enough, if you really, really love nature, there's nothing in the world of men, in the world of humans, that can make you sad, that can completely destroy you. Because you're part of nature, and the world of men, that's the world of men, but there's nothing as beautiful, as wonderful as being part of nature. And then she goes on to say how fantastic she feels being part of nature here. And though I must give my breath and my laughter all to death, and my eyes through which joy came, and my heart a wavering flame. So, despite the fact that nature is a circle, and I must die, death is an inevitable part of nature. And I must give all of my breath, all of my laughter, my eyes, and my heart, which is a wavering flame. If I have to give all of these to death, it doesn't matter. So she's going to, even if she has to give all of her breath to death, because when you die you don't breathe anymore, even if she will laugh no more after she's dead, even if her eyes will decompose, and these are the eyes that can see the beauty of nature in front of you, and her heart a wavering flame, so the heart that makes her feel love. If all must leave me and go back along a blind and fearful track, so that you can make me anew. So she's saying that if all of these things must leave, if everything of me will be destroyed, everything will go back to nature, and a blind and fearful track, so we don't know what's going to happen after we die. And this is we're a blind track, because this is going into the darkness, and a fearful track, we're afraid of death as well, so that you can make anew. So even if all of me needs to be destroyed, so that nature can then make something new, make new plants, make new fungi, make new trees, make new animals, fusing with intenser fire, something nearer your desire. So it doesn't matter if you take me nature and make something that make whatever you want, something nearer your desire than me, because if I die then nature doesn't desire me anymore, but nature can make something that nature desires even more out of me. And here she's focusing on how she's part of nature. If my soul must go alone through a cold infinity, or even if it vanish too, beauty, I have worshipped you. So all of this, destruction doesn't matter, death doesn't matter. Even if her soul has to go alone through infinity, or even if there's nothing after death, she doesn't care if there is an afterlife or not. I have worshipped beauty. And having worshipped beauty, having seen this beautiful day, having been part of this beautiful nature, then that is enough. This moment being part of nature, let this single hour atone for the theft of all of me. So now she says, let this beautiful hour that I've spent in the countryside, feeling part of nature, this is enough to compensate my death, to compensate my disappearance, whether there is an afterlife or not. This hour that I've spent is worth everything. It's worth more than my life itself. So enough. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. August Moonrise by Sara Teasdale.